Okay, so video cut out. And I think it's where I was saying that the back end is having a hard time. Actually, the back end's staying behind the front end. And wow. Aileron deflection, I mean the ailerons look neutral right now, but I have a bunch of left trim in it. That's interesting. Yeah, I do. I have a bunch of left trim in it. And some up. So some up would be perhaps a nose heavy, or the thrust angle needs to compensate. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Hold on. No, it doesn't matter. Alright, so my point is, I need to think about compensating probably. First thing I would do is, if you're having to use up and your motor is set parallel with the fuse in its angle, then what's happening is the motor, because it's above the pivot, or the CG's axes, actually, it's the pitch axis. So the pitch axis is somewhere here in the middle, and if the motor's above that and you're pushing still straight forward, it'll make the nose want to go down because the motor is above the line, the axis horizontal line, front to back. That's my theory and sticking to it. No, actually that's what I understand. So I'm hoping I'm right. I'm pretty sure I am. I've experimented with it before. So checking my wing connections. It looks like I need more rubber band business here. So I'm actually, the wings are able to rock back and forth. Don't know if that's actually going on up there or not. The motor was warm to hot, but I can still hold, and the speed controller is cool, completely cool. Okay, so this prop is probably okay. Maybe I should drop a single pitch number, and this one I think was what did I say? It's a 12.6. If I dropped a pitch, and I'm at half throttle cruising around, I could probably drop either the 11, go to an 11.6, get a little more ground clearance. Probably 11.6 would be smarter, and let the RPMs come up a little easier, because these middle motors are not so torquey. They're more RPM like, you know, they like RPM. Anyway, so now we got a breeze coming out of the west, so I'll hand launch back into that direction. But I would say it was a little tricky to handle. It wanted to wing rock, so a gyro is absolutely necessary in my mind right now. Should go to a gyro. I think the angle of incidence here in the front canard is good, because I don't have an excessive amount of lift going on. In fact, I've had to add elevator to correct that. I may also be slightly nose heavy. So that's really the first thing I could do once I get used to it, is start pulling the CG back a little bit from where it is currently. Pull the CG back, see how she behaves. But what we risk is tip stalling, where she doesn't want to come out of a turn and she'll just spiral down because she's a slight tail heavy. This bird may like to be neutral, slightly nose heavy. And I'm thinking I'm there, or maybe slightly further forward than that. So I know you can't see anything I'm looking at right now, but sorry about that. Alright, so here we're going to go around again. She doesn't tip stall. She likes speed. That was full throttle. Seems to behave better at speed, let's put it that way. Crosswind right there, crosswind. Crosswind. Downwind. She drops nose on downwind. On upwind, that's that forward canard incidence, I'm sure, is that it's when you increase airflow, it's going to pick the nose up more. So that makes sense on downwind that it will want to drop nose, because you lose that wind in the face. So yeah, definitely a gyro is necessary. On the ailerons, certainly not on pitch. Okay, and I did a landing too while I was off camera. So I'm pulling the throttle all the way back and we're checking for glide right here. Her nose is staying up on glide. Okay, so that tells me I very well could be then, look at that, she's wanting to stay up. I'm having to push the nose down. No stalling. Okay, my throttle might need to be adjusted on the bottom end because I was hearing the motor running while the throttle was all the way back. So I need to do my start up with battery disconnected, throttle full forward, so that the speed controller knows where my range is. So I'll push my trim on my throttle up about 3 or 4 clicks so that I have an absolute dead. Right now I had the trim all the way down and then set up the speed controller. So I have no idea what kind of time I've been flying right now. I'm just kind of getting used to it. I started with a full battery at 3600, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and push the weight forward some, just barely. I want that nose to come down when I throttle off. I moved it forward about 1 inch. That might be a little too much, but let's see what the CG looks like. Be hard to tell here with the wing into the plane, wing into the wind. And for all I know, the batteries moved back on launch. Right now I don't have them fixed, so that's a no-no right there. Alright, launching into the wind. Seems I have plenty of authority, and that's barely moving the, well, it's moving the stick about a 1/2 inch. Either side. I'm not doing it now, that's wing rocking. Alright, I'm going to pull the throttle back. And the nose still wants to float, though there's a glide slope right there. So initially the nose will want to float, Sounds like I'm losing battery. Dropping throttle. Get that glide slope going. Yes, now she's sinking. Let it float out. Yeah, it sounds like I'm losing battery. Let me check the motor temp. So plenty of authority with the ailerons, and I really want to get a gyro on here, which I have one, so I'll do that. I'll mark this battery location. Once I get to the house, I'll mark it, and then so that improved. That improved the flight performance on glide. Let's see, glide slope. So I was able to come down with it. So was slightly tail heavy or neutral in my previous flights. Alright, so enough for now. I'll get her shut down and I'll put these videos up. Hopefully that was, I was just kind of guessing on where this was looking. I raised the lens up just a little bit, and hopefully that was good. If not, I'll edit and try again, maybe with someone on the ground for me. That's actually the best way. Alright, so it looks like a gyro on the aileron side. And the problem with a mixed setup is, let's see, you can only put a gyro, you can put gyro on the aileron side. Why can't you put it on the other one? I'll have to play with that and see what's going on there. Well, I may only have a gyro on one aileron, and that'll be helpful because it's making some correction, but it may not be the best thing. I may have to I don't know, I may have to talk to EA about how he solved that, because he's only got two servos as well, and I think I saw a gyro on his. Maybe that was the V1. Yeah, it could be. Anyway, enough about that. So so far very pleased. The build was easy. I started it. I had 3 hours into building both wings and forming two 30-inch fuselage tubes, and then I cut one in half. So I have a fuselage spare part in the at the house, and so in 3 hours I formed up the wings, the aileron strips. They were all taped up. Oh, and pre-tape your foam board. That's a big must. Absolutely, pre-tape all your foam board. The best way. It doesn't affect how it bends much. It improves it actually, because it makes it more stable, especially on the airfoil shape itself. Alright, so post your comments. West out. Thanks, guys and gals.